Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio this morning is Morgan Massey with Fairwinds Direct Care here in Clinton. Morgan, good to meet you. How are you today?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm doing very well. Thanks.
Sure. Well, thanks for coming out and talking with us. And Morgan, of course, a new venture in Clinton, Fairwinds Direct Care. We've mentioned that. And you are above the square now, or on the square above the chamber in Clinton. That's really cool. Tell us about your journey, Fairwinds, and how you came to Clinton.
I'm actually from Clinton. I call Clinton home. I graduated from Clinton High School. I left Clinton after high school and finished college and then joined the military. So I was 4 years active duty in the Navy as an RN. After my service was completed, I came back to Central Illinois and have made Clinton my home again. My kids attend school here as well. So it seemed like a logical step for me to kind of make it a permanent place for my career as well. I've been working in corporate healthcare for the last 10 years as a nurse practitioner, the last 8 as a primary care provider. And in that time, I've really have found that there is a disconnect of how I feel like healthcare should be delivered to patients versus how the healthcare system allows me to deliver that care. So in all my frustrations, I have kind of did a lot of research and found a newer model called direct primary care. In this model, we take out a lot of the corporate oversight and insurance for the most part. So which is really what drives the demand on providers and the stress on patients. So with direct primary care, it is a monthly membership based. I charge $75 per patient, and that covers all of your care that I can give to you. So it includes office visits, physicals, procedures in the office. Anything I can do for you is covered with that amount. I kind of tell people it's like having me on retainer. And so you have a question, you call and text. The great part about this concept is it's direct. So there's no middleman. So when you call, text, email, Facebook message, whatever form of communication, you get me and nobody else. Eventually, I'd like to hire some help with some administrative stuff, but right now it's literally just me. So
Sure.
It's nice to be able to have that direct access. One of the biggest frustrations I've heard in the last 8 years, and worsening in the last 3 to 5, is contact with the providers. So the call centers with corporate organizations, you're always talking to somebody different. You never get the same person. You get delays in responses. And then
Delays in scheduling.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
You wake up and you're like, I have a sore throat. My kid had strep last week. I probably have it. So you call your primary care provider and they're like, oh, we don't have any appointments till 2 months out. So now you're going to urgent care. You're paying an extra fee to somebody you don't know and just being herded through the system. And so that's where I'm very different.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. So along those lines, Morgan, you laid out very well what direct care is. When did you probably knew about this for a while. When did you decide this was the leap for you and this was a viable option in Clinton? What was some of your planning like for that?
Yeah, I mean, I've done obviously a ton of research, leaving a steady paycheck and a job, a career is very risky, scary, but I've lost my passion with healthcare. I was becoming part of the problem of the system of just not being able to care for patients like I wanted, and that was taking a toll on me mentally and physically.
Do you mind if I ask what that looked like, or how what you mean by that?
What I mean by that is I was getting very much more irritable, being just more short with patients. My compassion was decreasing because I was just having so much pressure outside of outside of the office visit. So in the exam room with my patients, that's where my love was, sitting with my patients one-on-one, talking about their healthcare, listening to them, tell me about their grandkids or their children and their sports and their life in general, good, bad, and the ugly. That was where my passion was. And corporate healthcare did not allow me to spend the time there. Appointments
It was just treat, get out, move on to the
Right.
next.
Appointments are scheduled every 20 minutes. So by the time you get vital signs and, somebody else is doing all of that work, you're down to 10 to 15 minutes tops per patient. And that's not a lot of time when you're talking healthcare. So in this new model, my appointments are scheduled for an hour.
Oh, wow.
So I really get to dig down and we look at all of the patient's concerns. We look at whatever's bothering them, and we're able to bring in the personal part of it as well, because that's really what affects each individual's overall health is what's going on day to day behind the scenes.
Sure.
And where can we fix things as simple as sleep patterns or diet, exercise, like just little things that we gloss over in the corporate world because we physically don't have the time to concentrate on the areas that really matter the most.
Sure. Well, again, our guest in studio this morning is Morgan Massey, nurse practitioner, Fair Winds Direct Care here in Clinton. She owns Fair Winds. It's on the square above the Clinton Chamber, new location. That's really cool, Morgan. We'll dive into that here in just a little bit, but kind of run down, what are some of the things that folks can come in and see you for?
I manage, I do primary care. So I manage pretty much all chronic conditions. So I do diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, anxiety, depression, high cholesterol. I don't know if I said that one. Pretty much all of those chronic conditions, including weight loss. And so I'm actually going to be partnering with somebody else with some weight loss options. So maybe we can discuss that a little bit more. But I prescribe all of those medications. I can offer alternatives. We can work on any of that type of stuff. I do labs, so we can draw labs in my office. We go over lab results.
Do you process those in-house?
I don't process them in-house. I have an outside vendor I use, but for my direct primary care patients, the cost of labs is actually to pay cash for price. The labs is actually much cheaper typically than even using insurance. I give a prime example. I had somebody tell me that they got a CBC, which is a complete blood count, a CMP, which is kidney, liver electrolytes, a cholesterol panel, a thyroid test, and an A1C. Pretty common for most people. That those labs with their physical, they were billed $1,600. My cost for those same 5 labs for my direct primary care patients was $41.38.
Wow. How are you able to do that?
I have negotiated low cost with my vendor. And I pass on all the savings from that vendor to my direct primary care patients.
Sure. How long is it to get results back on things like that?
Next day, typically.
Really?
It depends. With any lab, some labs take a little bit longer, but typically I'd say about 95% of my labs are back the next day. They pick them up in the evening time. They are resulted by the next morning.
Sure. You talked about it's $75 a month to be a part of your program. But I'm sure there's people out there that heard that and they're like, well, gosh, yes, those labs are $1,600 at a normal healthcare facility, but or other healthcare facilities, I'll say. But like I come in for something more extreme and it's, then I'm getting into the $500 and I'm getting into the $1,000 range and I just can't afford that. How about those things?
So that's where this is good. The $75, like I said, covers any of those office visits. So whether or not, and it's kind of up to the patient and, myself, we develop a plan as far as when you come back in. If you want to pay the monthly amount and you only want to come see me once a year and get your physical and labs, that's up to you. But I'm also there in case you get sick. So the cost is consistent. It's predictive. The additional kind of caveat to that is if patients have an HSA account with their current insurance, they can actually put that card on file and pay for their membership. Or if you do not, you can actually write it off on your taxes this year. And that's a new law as of 2026.
Really? Tell me about that.
So the current administration has a huge love of this concept as well. So they see the benefit in it. They see that the current system is broken.
Mm-hmm.
The only ones truly winning in that system are insurance companies and
Mhm.
corporate executives. The
Mhm.
patients at the bottom are not winning. You're not getting any good care overall. And so this direct primary care is really putting it back to the patients. And so they have made that new. You've never been able to write this off before.
Mhm.
And so that's a huge, huge benefit for patients. I mean, it's $75 a month is $900 for the whole year. So that
Mhm.
patient that paid $1,600
Just for labs.
$900 covers all of your visits. And my goal is to keep patients out of urgent cares, out of ERs.
Mhm.
Obviously, I can't do that completely. If you're having a heart attack or stroke, I can't do anything for that. That's an ER visit. But if you've had an upper respiratory infection for a couple of days and you're like, man, this is really kind of taking a turn for worse, we can maybe treat it there before you're like, oh, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. And then it gets to the point you're in the ER and maybe admitted for severe infection. So we're able to treat earlier and kind of monitor things a little bit more closely to prevent it from getting worse.
Mhm.
And because I'm on quote retainer for you, you can just reach out, send me a text. Hey, Morgan, I have these symptoms. What do you recommend? And then you do that for a couple of days and then you send me a text or give me a call and say, hey, this isn't working. What's our next step? And so we're can be in constant contact. So we're preventing those additional higher needs levels of care.
Sure, sure. Well, Morgan, I look at the clock. We're coming up on a break. How do folks learn about your practice? And I don't know if you are willing to text, folks that are not patients yet, but what does communication with you look like to maybe get this process started for
there's a
folks?
couple different ways. I'm on Facebook, so Fairwinds Direct Care on Facebook.
Mhm.
I've got links there. You can Facebook message me. My phone number is everywhere. It's 309-682-0374. That comes directly to me. I have a website, fairwindsdirectcare.com.
Mhm.
There is a contact form on there that you can submit your name and phone number and stuff, and I can get back to you. You can send me an email, Morgan at Fairwinds Direct Care. Any of those, you send me a message and we can set up a time to either talk via phone or come in and meet me face to face. That first visit, there is no charge for it. There's no pressure. We decide, is this right for you? Are we a good fit together? And if we are, we proceed. If not, then we go our separate ways.
Very good. Again, that is Morgan Massey, Fairwinds Direct Care here in Clinton. Our guest in studio today. More to come with Morgan on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW. Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, my guest in studio is Morgan Massey. She is a nurse practitioner with Fairwinds Direct Care, new practice here in Clinton. It's on the square above the Chamber of Commerce on the Clinton Square. Morgan, let's dive into a couple of things. As we were going to break there, I had the thought of, let's say family of 4 with young kids. How does like pediatrics work, just general care like that? How about those things?
Right now, my practice is only for adults only. So anybody 18 and above. In the future, that will change. But for right now, that unfortunately, I cannot see kids. But it will be coming. So for families, though, I do offer a little bit of a discounted rate. So if there's 2 adults in the home that join the practice, instead of $75 a month, it's $65. So it does give you a little bit of a break there.
And that's per individual?
Yep. So it takes off $10 per month if there's 2 or more adults that join the practice.
Sure.
Again, all the services, nothing changes as far as what I offer to those patients.
Gotcha. Sure. So and I know you wanted to bring this up. Who is direct care for? What does that look like?
So direct care can be basically for anybody. So uninsured patients is a fantastic option for them, because uninsured patients typically don't go to anybody unless it's
An emergency.
An emergency or last-ditch effort. So these patients are not getting the true primary care, which is what should be focused on preventative. So that's getting labs, looking for diabetes, high cholesterol, hypertension, all of these things, if treated early and kind of addressed, have a lot less long-term complications. But if you let them go on, untreated hypertension is kind of a silent killer as you get older. It can cause complications such as congestive heart failure. Sleep apnea is another huge one that we really are looking at, because we have linked it to untreated sleep apnea can lead to a lot of cardiac issues. It's also being linked to dementia. So again, that's a huge concern for most of us adults, is kind of the dementia part of it. And if we can screen for those things earlier on, then, you tend to have less of that. So those patients that are uninsured are typically staying out of the preventative realm. They're not getting cancer screenings. They're not getting any of that preventative, even guidance.
Yeah. Well, and how about those things? I mean, if someone does need say a cancer screening or a sleep study or something like that, can they do that at your office?
So I have, so if patients have insurance, a lot of that stuff can be billed through insurance. There's also some vendors that I have found that do things for cash prices for patients that don't have insurance or have poor insurance.
So they can come to you with insurance.
Absolutely. So that's the other kind of group of people that it's good for. People with insurance with high deductibles. So a lot of these deductibles are getting astronomical.
Crazy.
$5,000-$6,000 per year. So you're already paying out of pocket $5,000 to $6,000 per year, no matter if you go anywhere in the healthcare system. So you're going to avoid that as much as possible, because you're going to get charged that. And like the patient who told me, it cost him $1,600 for just a basic physical and labs. Whereas you come to me for $900 a year, you get all of your care. You can come once a month if you want. We can do weight management. We can do whatever kind of lifestyle changes and stuff, and we can keep a close eye on it for $900 for the whole year.
Sure.
Labs are very minimal. So you're paying significantly less than you would be going through a bigger provider. The other caveat to coming to the large organizations is you can't always find a black and white price of what it's going to cost you. You can call and say, and they can tell you, if the provider bills this code for this type of office visit, then this is what we bill. But on the back end, there's contract negotiation. So maybe Blue Cross gets this rate and Aetna gets this rate, etc. So there's a lot of that behind the scenes. Then you have to take into account your deductible, your co-insurance. So it's not a black and white answer. In my office, it's black and white. I literally will tell you, here's the labs we're drawing, here's the cost. Here's the medications that I can get for you, here's the cost. Very black and white.
Sure. How about Medicare? How does Medicare work with your office?
So Medicare patients are different from a legal standpoint. So as of right now, I cannot accept Medicare patients as direct primary care memberships.
Mhm.
So they can't pay the monthly membership. However, I can bill Medicare Part B for services. So
Mhm.
that would be billed just like it would with anybody else. It would be per visit.
Sure.
However, being independent, I'm going to limit those number of Medicare patients so that that way I can still deliver the same access to care as I do my membership patients.
Gotcha. Very good. Well, I've got 1 minute more, Morgan, with you here. Very quickly, talk about practice on the square, where you're at, how folks find you. How about those things?
Yep. So my office is directly above the chamber. It's 100 South Center Street in the Dorothy Warner Business Building. There is elevator access for those that maybe have some mobility issues. There's a ramp as well from the square side of the building. You can find me online at Facebook, Fairwinds Direct Care, my website, fairwindsdirectcare.com. My phone number, you can call or text. It's 309-682-0374. On my website, there is a ton of information as far as kind of FAQs about the concept because it is so new and different than most people are used to.
Sure, very good. Well, Morgan, it was good to meet you this morning, and best of luck in Clinton. Thank you so
sir,
much
for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Morgan Massey, she is with Fairwinds Direct Care, and again, new practice in Clinton on the square. Our guest in studio for this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network news comes your way now.
WHOW.